morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, January 8th, 2013. Another incident with a Boeing 787. This is a Japan Airlines 787, one that was delivered to the airline in December, just apparently a couple of weeks ago, after a nonstop flight from Tokyo into Boston at about 10:15 yesterday morning. An onboard mechanic doing maintenance spotted smoke. Fortunately, all 182 people or so on board the plane on that flight had disembarked. By the time the Boston airport fire personnel arrived, there was heavy smoke. This was only after 3 minutes. The malfunction was traced back to an auxiliary lithium battery pack that supplies the plane with power when the engines are shut down. Commentators are saying that this now seems to be the second incident in which an electrical malfunction has caused a rather significant problem for the plane, and it perhaps does not bode particularly well, although the 787 obviously is still in the startup kind of mode and the kinks are being worked out. Fortunately, it happened on the ground. Yesterday morning as well, an empty tanker struck a tower in the middle of the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge while navigating underneath that giant span. San Francisco, like all other ports in the United States, utilizes a system where local pilots are brought out to the ships or are in the ships taking the ships out to sea because of presumed familiarity with the local harbor waters. In this instance, the 752-foot ship, the Overseas Raymar, rammed the tower yesterday afternoon as it headed out to sea. The particular pilot involved has been a San Francisco harbor pilot since 2005. As is usual in these instances, an alcohol test was performed. There's no result of that yet. The bridge apparently has sustained about 40 feet of damage to fender material that will have to be replaced. There was no oil spill whatsoever, and the bridge actually never closed. Meanwhile, in Australia, firefighters are battling scores of fires as the continent and country is facing a pretty harsh summer season right now. Authorities have said that the high winds and blistering temperatures have now led to catastrophic fire conditions in some areas. The Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, warned the nation to keep safe as temperatures in some spots have now soared to over 105 degrees. The Prime Minister said this is a very dangerous day. It is very important that people keep themselves safe. The temperature in Sydney is about 104. And there are some fears that that city could be threatened next by fire. 2 Indian soldiers were killed on the border region with Kashmir. This is sort of a hot border between India and Pakistan. The Pakistanis deny that they had anything to do with it, but over the whole 12 months of 2012, 8 Indian soldiers were killed during that year in 75 separate incidents on the border. It's a hot border. As I said, that's more activity than has occurred in the border between North and South Korea. If you've been to Zurich, you've noticed the White Fort where Swiss Re is based, or the White Castle, I should say, and the Red Castle where for generations Zurich Insurance and Zurich Re was based. Traditionally, the two of them didn't do much business with each other. They were great competitors. But Zurich Insurance Group and Swiss Re have now announced that Zurich has obtained a 3-year, $270 million catastrophe excess of loss reinsurance protection program from one of Swiss Re's subsidiaries. The subsidiary is a Bermudian special purpose reinsurer that's fully collateralized, that's going to provide Zurich with 3 years of reinsurance protection against earthquake losses in specific territories in North America. Berkshire Hathaway has secured a deal to write a 15% share of most of the Australian carrier QBE's reinsurance program. This is a pretty big deal because QBE, as well as Insurance Australia Group, have been ramping up reinsurance protection as a result of the catastrophic losses in Australia and New Zealand. The most prominent treaty that Berkshire has joined is QBE's Global CAT program, which is structured as a single $1.3 billion stretch across a $200 million deductible, with one prepaid reinstatement in place on the part of QBE. If you've been to Bermuda, you're acutely conscious of the fact that you're in the middle of an island about 800 miles off the coast of America. Everything is imported. Well, not today. Medical supplies, perishable goods, and other imports are sitting rotting on the docks in Hamilton as unionized port workers are on strike. prompted by notices of layoffs. The Bermuda Industrial Union and the stevedores have said that nothing will move until the ongoing dispute is settled. The next ship is due tomorrow, and there's another ship due on Thursday that will begin to hit the supermarket shortly. Interestingly enough, the Iranian oil minister, who up until 2 weeks ago was saying that the Iranians had no difficulty whatsoever in selling their oil despite the harsh economic sanctions, acknowledged in front of a congressional committee yesterday for the first time that oil sales had fallen by at least 40% over the past year, contradicting his previous denials. The acknowledgement comes as new restrictions on sanctions are threatening to further choke Iran's ability to sell oil, its most important export. One of the consequences of this sanction is that the oil ministry yesterday stopped the sale of jet fuel to the Iranian national airline unless they pay cash. The official news agency Mehr in Tehran reported that most commercial airline flights inside the country have already been canceled as a result. One commentator who teaches economics at Virginia Tech said it's common knowledge in Iran that oil sales have fallen. I don't know if the oil minister had been in denial. Very interesting what's going on. Economic sanctions brought about the change in the apartheid regime in South Africa. Perhaps, just perhaps, they might work as intended here with the Iranian nuclear program. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.